Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for possibly one of the most frustrating videos, 6 things we learnt videos to make. Spurs won, Chelsea won, Tottenham win 5-4 on penalties. Couple of good things to talk about today, but it ends in the worst way possible. Whenever it's a penalty shootout, it is a lottery. But in today's video, I'm going to show why it should never have been a lottery in the first place. Chelsea should have got this match over and done with. They should have had the game won. And it's one of them where I'm sat here at 5 o'clock in the flipping morning and I'm gutted about this because whenever you lose the Carabao Cup game, you can always say it's the Carabao Cup, but this isn't like that. This is Tottenham. This is Jose Mourinho versus Frank Lampard. This is our biggest rivals in a game where we had opportunities and we had chances to do better, but we didn't. We didn't kill the game off, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the 6 things. It's not a happy video. I know whenever we lose a game against Spurs, it's not going to be the proudest moment for the channel, but I do want to ask you to subscribe if you're new to GBFC. Hit the like button if it's only to just help me out, not because you like Chelsea flipping losing. But we are going to try and start with some positives because I thought the first half display was good. There were still things about it that weren't very good, but I want to start with the man who scored his first Chelsea goal. I've given him a green box today. Timo Werner, yes, I do have a question as to why he didn't take a penalty at the end, but let's focus on his actual performance during the 90 minutes because we could have won the shootout, we could have lost the shootout, it would have changed the whole dynamic of this video, but it wouldn't have changed what was happening on the pitch for the 90 minutes where Chelsea didn't kill off the game. Timo Werner scores his first Chelsea goal. It's a very good finish with his right foot. He's got that killer instinct in the box. Whenever the ball is at his feet, his first thought is, can I shoot right now? Can I put the ball in a position towards the goal where we can try and score? Timo Werner did score today against Spurs, and I think it's a big goal for him. And it will be overshadowed, of course, by the fact that we got knocked out in a knockout competition. But I thought Teemo was very good. I thought, again, he's looking to make those runs over the top. But as we're about to discuss later on within this video, Chelsea weren't finding him. Olivier Giroud was underutilised. We weren't trying the long ball to try and feed Timo Werner's runs off of Olivier Giroud. We didn't see any of that, but I wanted to give Timo Werner a green because we've been waiting for his first goal. I said on Twitter that he probably would score his first goal today. I called it 6 minutes before it happened. But I don't want to sit here today saying how flipping good my predictions were because I thought Chelsea dominated the first half and then we came out in the second half with no ideas, no speed, no ability to actually pass the ball forwards, and when we did get into shooting positions or positions where we could have created more opportunities, the final ball was nothing shy of awful this afternoon. Not even this afternoon, the flipping evening, it's dark. Chelsea have lost, Teemo gets a green box, and I also want to move into another green box, and then we're really going to get into digging into the reasons why Chelsea just got knocked out of this competition. Kurt Zouma, the match would have been Spurs' match if it wasn't for Kurt Zouma's last-ditch tackle in the first half. It was a brilliant tackle from kind of his own doing and his own mistake, but he makes the tackle just as Mendy comes out and closes the ball down as well, gives Chelsea the 1-0, and it keeps the score at 1-0. It's one of those where, Zouma has shown over recent weeks that he probably is the best centre-back at the club. He comes back in today, and I don't think it's any surprise that we actually look quite solid. I thought the Tomori-Zouma partnership was very good, apart from one moment of concentration lapse that we're going to get into in a moment from an individual player. Chelsea again, they shot off at the back and we concede a goal and the game goes to flipping penalties, and then who bloody hell knows what's going to happen. I thought Kurt Zouma was very good again. I think that Chelsea did look quite strong defensively for the majority of the match in various different positions. Ben Chilwell, I've not got any boxes for him today because there's enough negatives for us to talk about. I thought Chilwell, for the 65 minutes that he played, actually had a very good game. Kurt Zouma gets a green box, and box number 3 has to be the red box. And if we bring it back and we continue to talk about that first half display, Chelsea were very good, but we were so slow. And I actually thought Jorginho didn't do too badly in the first half, but when we actually look at the basis of the game now and the way the whole thing panned out, the sideways passing, we should have been trying to kill Spurs off. Spurs looked so tired in that first half. We saw before the game that Mourinho made the comments that this really wasn't their most important match this week. They've got 2 other matches, Tottenham, that are far more important in Mourinho's eyes than this game against Chelsea. So when I see that we are dominating the possession, we are creating more chances, Yet we're still passing the ball sideways when we could have been going forwards. We could have been trying to put those balls over the top to Olivier Giroud. Olivier Giroud's in this team, and we all know the qualities that he has as a target man. We've seen him do it countless times in a Chelsea shirt, in an Arsenal shirt, France, throughout his entire career. If the ball is put up high to Olivier Giroud, he gets his back into defenders, similar to that of Didier Drogba. He holds up the ball, and then we can offload it to a Mason Mount. We can offload it to Teemo. We can offload it to Callum Hudson-Odoi, who I actually thought looked quite bright for the majority of the game as well, but come the end of it, he lost his box as well. I'll discuss his performance in a little bit. Jorginho was going sideways. I thought Kovacic was putting in good tackles, but again, it was too slow. Chelsea weren't looking to actually move the ball forward with any pace, and I think, again, this game shows the importance that Kai Havertz is going to have within this Chelsea team. I'm very surprised, in Super Frank, that he didn't bring Havertz on. And I know that you guys, now that we've lost this game, are going to be giving me a lot of stick for maybe not giving individual players red boxes or, you know, it is what it is. We lost on penalties. It would have been very different, as I said, if we'd have won the shootout, but we've got to focus on trying to win matches in 90 minutes. You know, I thought the penalties were very good right until the end, where Mason Mount puts it wide. It's unfortunate, but I will talk about his performance in a moment. Chelsea should have killed this game off. There wasn't any urgency to do so, and in the end, credit to Spurs. You know, as soon as it goes to penalties, they've got a lot of top quality penalty takers. They've got a lot of great players that they can call upon in their squad, despite it obviously not being at full strength, which is even frustrating in itself, to be quite honest. But Chelsea didn't kill off the game. That is a red box, but I move into box number 4, and it is a green again. You've got to remember, we drew the 90-minute football match, and that's what I'm trying to focus the majority of my analysis on tonight. Edouard Mendy made 2 massive saves in this game, one of them in the second half to tip the ball over the bar. We've seen those go in many times at Chelsea where teams are having shots and we just don't make any effort to save it. But the key save for me was the save instinctively with his legs in the first half. And if we bring it back to the Zuma tackle, those 2 big saves from Edouard Mendy, Spurs could have killed us off, and despite dominating the majority of the game in the first half, you know, I hate to play that kind of card, but devil's advocate, if one of those would have gone in, Chelsea might have actually shown a bit more urgency to try and go forward and actually do something more in attack. I'm not going to try and wish Spurs to score more goals against us. That's not what I'm saying. But bringing it back to box number 3, we didn't do enough going forward despite Teemo getting his goal. Edouard Mendy saved us, and I also liked the way that I felt more comfortable. You know, when the corners were coming in, I felt as though he's much more confident coming out to claim the ball. And he did make those saves too, so I thought it was a good debut for Edouard Mendy. Considering he's not really been with us for very long, I can't imagine he's had that much time to memorise the Spurs penalty takers to be able to really do much in the shootout. In terms of how close he got to any of them, he wasn't close to saving really any penalties for Spurs. Edouard Mendy wasn't really close to saving any of the penalties, which is frustrating, but I think, again, focusing on the football that was played in the 90, I thought he was good. He's obviously got to get better at saving penalties. We're going to see that, hopefully, as he gets more time to study penalty takers in the Premier League. But Edouard Mendy gets a green, and then we have to finish this video with reds. And the red box that I'm going to give was Emerson. He was clearly out of position for the goal. As I've mentioned with Zuma's performance, I've commented on Tomori. Azpilicueta I thought was pretty good for the majority of the game, got a nice assist for Teemo as well. Emerson comes on, and we just see the reason why Frank Lampard wanted to bring in Ben Chilwell. If we're going to put it as bluntly as that, Emerson scored his penalty, which was good, and again, he was looking to get forward, but he was so out of position for the goal. There wasn't really any real defensive attempt to make a tackle on Erik Lamela before he tucks it in past Mendy. And, you know, when Spurs scored, I sat there and just knew they deserved to, because we were so slow in that second half. We invited the pressure on us. Emerson gets caught out of position, and I sit here making a video for a loss. It's super frustrating, but we move into box number 6. I'm giving a red today to Mason Mount. I know that you guys think, because he's my homeboy and, you know, he follows me on Instagram and all of this stuff, that I won't sit here and say when he hasn't made a good performance. That's not the case, you know. I'm a Chelsea fan first and foremost, above anything else. And I didn't think it was Mason's best game today. I suggested that we rest him. And, you know, I'm not saying I should be doing the job over Frank Lampard, but Mason didn't look as though he had that kind of energy today. There were a couple of fouls where he went down and it looked like it was quite sore. But in the second half, there was that one moment, and I've got to address it, the moment where he could have just passed it earlier to Teemo, or any pass other than the one that he attempted would have got Chelsea into a shooting position. Same thing happened with Callum Hudson-Odoi, but I thought for large portions of the game he was actually very good, and we saw a lot of positives again from Callum today. There's weird stuff going on in that bathroom behind me. I don't know what it is. But Mason obviously missed the penalty as well. He walked up to it. He didn't look confident. He didn't even hit the target. And, you know, I think in general today, his performance was lackluster in terms of actually creating stuff for Chelsea. He's normally very good. The press in the first half, which we know is a big element of his game, of the stuff that he does off the ball, it was decent, but he disappeared completely from the game in the second half. And I feel as though, again, I've not given anything to Frank today, but I think he should have made changes. I thought Mason maybe should have come off. He looked a bit leggy. Havertz could have came on. And this Spurs defence were there for the taking. You know, there were times today where they made mistakes, where we didn't capitalise. Callum had a good chance. It was a good save from Lloris in that first half. But overall, frustrating, incredibly frustrating performance. A sad one to have to make this video with a loss. It could have gone either way. 9 out of 10 of the penalties were perfect, and then Mason puts it wide, and unfortunately, he's the man who ends this video with a red box. It wasn't really good enough tonight for Chelsea. We've got to find that killer instinct. We've got a striker that can do so. I didn't think Tammy looked bad when he came on either. Olivier Giroud didn't do anything, and I think overall, Chelsea's inability to actually transition the ball at any pace from the defence through the midfield into the attack. Jorginho, there's talks that he might be leaving. I think it might be the only way, you know, to get more of these creative players in there. Players like Ziyech today would have played so many more balls over the top, and we could have been sat here talking about a different scoreline. But anyway, this is not the one I wanted to make. This is not the video that I'm happy about today. 6 things we learned. Chelsea are beaten 5-4 on penalties against our biggest rival Spurs. We've got to try and put this one in the back of our minds now. I hope that Mason doesn't take it too much personally. Missing the penalty. It happens to everyone. We saw it with Tammy last season in the Super Cup, and he went on to have a very good season. I hope that Mason doesn't take this one to heart. It wasn't his best performance in the 90 either, but we've seen a good start to the season from him already, and I think Chelsea will have to try and grow from this one. We've got to try and learn to kill teams off. We can't keep conceding chances because we know that we're still susceptible to concentration lapses and moments at the back where we're not good enough. But anyway, make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links to those are in the description. It's at Mr. George Benson. I've only got 2 hours sleep because I woke up for this game. So I look like I'm about to go and pass out, which isn't the case. I'm going to edit this, upload it for you guys, and I will see you tomorrow where I'll make another video where we discuss some of the news. Not ideal. See you all later. Come on, you Blues.